In 1942, Enrico Fermino at the University of Chicago and his science team created the world's first nuclear reaction. Now, at the time, there was absolutely groundbreaking because no one had ever thought to harness nuclear energy. But this was also the creation of the world's most powerful, but also dangerous forms of energy. Now, my question is, should nuclear power be shut down? I believe nuclear power should be shut down. One reason, because it is too costly. Nuclear power is almost as expensive as wind, solar, and hydropower combined. With that, in the past decade, solar power has dropped by 90% in price, whereas nuclear power has skyrocketed 40% in price. Nuclear energy costs about $168 per megawatt. Wind and solar energy costs about $38 per megawatt. This means that on average, nuclear power is 4 times expensive as wind and solar combined. Now, with that said, nuclear power plants also cost about 12 to 20 billion to build. Public safety is also a huge factor in nuclear power plants. The workers are at huge risks, not only by the power plant, but by also natural disasters and war and terrorism. Currently, on average, nuclear power plants are about 31 years old. This also causes many problems like crumbling in concrete, cracking in pipes, and wear and tear on valves and piping. There are also people who believe that nuclear power is essential to the US. But why? Well, scientists have made new cores much safer and more efficient. They take up less space, they create more power per square mile, and they are just cheaper to build. Now, this means that the radioactive waste is less radioactive and safer to work on, and if the US continues down the nuclear power plant path, we will become more self-reliant, more powerful, and less likely to have power outages. But why is nuclear energy so bad for the environment? Well, it's because of nuclear waste. Nuclear waste is extremely radioactive and toxic. If it gets into the environment, our environment will become extremely toxic and unhealthy to be in. Now, if it gets into the water, this will transfer all the radioactive material into the drinking water that we drink, and millions of people will become either sick or die. On average, nuclear waste takes about 100 years to dispose of. This means that after 100 years, scientists and workers will be able to properly dispose of radioactive waste. Due to past accidents such as Chernobyl or other meltdowns in core eruptions, we know what nuclear waste can do to our environment, the plants and animals in it, and also the humans around it. To conclude, I believe nuclear power must be shut down. It is too costly, too dangerous, and it pumps out toxic radioactive waste that is harmful to our environment. Sea levels and heat waves cause major shutdowns in plants across the world. This causes problems for the cooling and other safety factors for workers. If we want to cut greenhouse gases emitted by power plants, we would need to put out twice as many nuclear power plants as we have right now until the year 2050. And with that, we will only drop greenhouse gases by 4%. But we have other cheaper and cleaner ways to make energy, like solar, wind, and hydropower. Now, imagine what our world would be like without nuclear energy, how much safer and cleaner it would be, and how much healthier we would be. With that being said, we must take action now, and nuclear power must be shut down.